Hi, Michael here. In this second video on 10 proven ways to get a 9 in GCSE Maths, I will focus on exam tips, what to do the day before and during the actual examination. Also, my final tip deals with how you should handle getting stuck in the exam, so please stick around to the end of this video. My first tip is to get the day before right. Things you should be doing include ideally a past paper, reviewing as many topics as possible, focusing on the major ones. As you go along doing this, create a summary, including anything you find hard remembering. This summary should really be no more than 1 or 2 pages. Finally, get some rest. Do not spend the night cramming. My next tip is to get the basics right. This might seem obvious, but the aim is to minimize the stress of everything else besides the exam, because the exam is stressful enough. So prepare what you need for the exam day, ideally the night before. Try and arrive early. Anxiety and nervousness are contagious, so I've found maybe keep the talking to fellow students, friends, before the exam to a minimum. You should definitely review your summary sheet as close to the time you go into the exam. Maybe if you have a journey to the exam and it takes a while, you could be reviewing this sheet then. The next step is to get your exam strategy right. For most people, this means doing easy questions first. Usually they're towards the start of the paper, but you might find a question is difficult for you particularly. Mark against it and move on. And very importantly, come back later. Treat the exam like a game of getting marks and hunting marks. And remember, marks can come from anywhere on the paper. My next tip is to eliminate mistakes. Depending on how many mistakes you make, you could move up a grade if you could eliminate them. For each question you do, you should review your answer. Does it make sense? Double check the calculations. Have you got anything wrong? Review the question. Have you answered it fully? Have you missed anything? If the question uses units, have you added units to your answer? Is it clear how you arrived at your answer? At some point in the exam, unless you're a genius, you will get a bit stuck. Here are my go-to tips for when you get stuck. Put down something. No answer equals no marks. Whatever you know about that particular subject, put it down. The next thing is to try anything related to that subject. If it's an algebra problem, for instance, try rearranging the terms. For questions with pictures, try looking at them another way, i.e. by turning the paper upside down or at a different angle. Finally, my advice is if you can't get any further and you've used up your allotted time for the question, move on. Sometimes the brain continues to work on problems subconsciously, and the answer will pop into your head later on during the exam, and you can come back to the question. Okay, we're at the end of the video. Those are my tips. All that remains for me to say is the very best of luck with your exams. Goodbye.